right, so we are looking at the US dollar index futures, and this is giving us an idea of what the whole market is going to do for the week. When the dollar is going bullish, everything else is most likely going to go bearish. And when the dollar is bearish, everything else is most likely going to go bullish. So it gives us a good idea of what the overall market is going to do. We like to use this, the S&P and some other things as a nice gauge for macro moves. The macro moves gives us a really good indication for the lower time frame probability, right? So if we're bullish on a macro perspective, we're really going to have a higher probability on a lower time frame for a move up, right? And it would be vice versa. If we are bullish macro and we see a lower time frame move to the downside, probably a half risk opportunity. But let's check out what we have on the dollar this week. You can see how we're in a nice area. In the past, we have been here before. We have reacted off of this area in the past. So that's just a nice important area to note. We don't really use EMAs too much, but it has held above this 50 EMA. And something to note about the volume here is that the volume did pick up with this nice price action. And the next area of importance is way down at the 96 area. So I personally think the market has some room to correct before it makes its way down there, if it's going to go down there. We're not really focused on that too much yet. Let's go to the daily, and you can see the price action starting to turn around. We spoke about the volume, the high volume with this little candle, and now we're starting to get a possible turnaround. So we're definitely interested to see what the price action is going to do. We do have a falling wedge here. So if price does break out of this wedge, we will be looking for a move to the upside. And you can see these areas. I've kind of marked off some nice areas of price action over here where price has reacted, and it's also lining up with the volume profile to the right. So you can really just use the volume profile for your levels. Let's go to the 4-hour, and you can kind of see the idea for the week, right? So like I said, if we do start to break out of this level, break out of the falling wedge, we will be looking for the dollar to reverse back up into this next level. So that's kind of like a macro move. If we see that happen, that's what we'll be playing. And if we see this happen before that, so we'll go down to the 1-hour. And if we see the market come back down into this level, we'll be looking for this low here, low of last week, to possibly hold and see if we can't get an early jump on this reversal on the dollar. All right, so now we're here looking at the euro futures, and we're going to take a look at some of the other futures as well. So we have the euro, we have the British pound, and we have the Australian dollar. And usually whenever the dollar does one thing, these three will do the opposite. So we'd like to try to find which one out of the three looks the most appealing, and then we strike on that. So we'll look at the euro first, and we have a macro area that the euro is in right now. And more or less, it's starting to break this area. So we have to really be patient. You can see I can move this up into this supply here. And technically we're there, zones are kind of subjective in that manner, but we are starting to get high volume coming in with littler candles, so that is a sign of possible reversal. When we go down to these lower time frames, you can see that the structure just hasn't shifted yet. There's a lot of divergence, but the structure just hasn't shifted. So once we get this shift in structure, we'll definitely be looking for the euro to drop. Unlike that, though, on the pound, we have seen the shift already. You can see with this move, it has shifted structure big time. It has fallen out of the rising wedge that it's in. So it's already starting to show signs. It's more weaker than the dollar is stronger. So I'm thinking the pound has opportunities this week to continue to the downside. And then even more, we have even a bigger move here on the Australian dollar. So to me, the Aussie looks the weakest, then the GBP, then the euro. So if you're looking to short one of the three, I think the Australian dollar or AU would be the one to short out of all three of those, then GU, then we need to wait on EU most likely. Okay, so we're looking at the gold futures. Prices are going to be a little bit different than what they are going to be on your brokers, but the price action should be very similar. We're here on gold, and you can see that the divergence has been there for a while. Since November, really, the market made this high, and it just hasn't quite made a correction. You see all the imbalance down here around the 78.6 fib. It started to create a rising wedge. The whole market started to kind of diverge and create these patterns. And now we're starting to possibly break through it. You can see the momentum drop out, the slow line starting to come down. That's our sign for a possible bearish move to the downside. And then when you go to the 1 hour, you can clearly see the manipulation here. Okay, price broke through these highs and then instantly reversed straight back below it. So I'm looking at that as a manipulation impulse move that we like to look for. And when the market gets back into this area, you can see how there's just a little bit of volume still holding up price right here before there's not a lot of interest. Once it gets into that area, we should see a wick and then a move out from that. And that's what I'll be playing right here on gold at the 78.6. We get the retracement. The picture perfect move would be an A, B, C wave with the momentum here doing the ABC as well with divergence. So if we get this and this, that's a really good confirmation for gold to drop. And one thing I like to look for with gold is I do like to check silver to see if they are correlating. And it does look like silver has, struggled here to break this high. And then it did make a nice impulse to the downside as well. So I'm seeing the same type of move here on silver. If we go to the daily on silver, it is actually in a swing zone. So this could start to swing down. I like all the confirmations I'm seeing right here on these. Okay, let's get into the indices. We always like to look at the VIX first because it gives us kind of a directional bias depending on where this VIX could be. And when the VIX is low, that means that the indices are probably high. And when the VIX is high, that means the indices are probably low. Right now, the indices are not necessarily high, but the VIX is low. I'm looking for the VIX to go up. And if it breaks this level right here at 23, it's most likely going to send the indices down. So remember, VIX up, indices down. And so we're looking for that move this week, basically, or very soon. Okay. Here we were talking about how low it could possibly go. And we're not sure if it's going to make a new low or not. But we're definitely expecting one leg down. We can go to the 1 hour and you can see the big time manipulation we had here. And we've just completely erased all of last week's price action. The weekly candle is actually telling the full story on the indices now. So this is the move we're hoping to get. And I'll just highlight this area right here. And we're hoping to bring it down into this area. So I will highlight this as well. So that's kind of like the spots that we're looking for the week, but this is really the possibility. We spoke about this last week, how it came up into the 78.6 and now it's just tanking. We think this could ultimately make a new low all the way into 30 or into 3K. So that's the possibility. Definitely you're seeing this spot right here, automatic. That's definitely where I'm seeing this, but till then, we got to play the lower time frames. We got to watch this move here. So we'll make this red and we'll wait for the market to come back into the manipulation. We can throw a fib on it. You can wait for your 78.6, 61.8, get that discount before it makes the big move down. And, it might do something like this to give an opportunity to the upside first, but then I would be really expecting this move. And like I said, we might not be getting the new lows this week all the way, but I do expect a similar move that we saw here. I expect a similar move just like that right here. And I'm looking at S&P right now, but they all look very similar. NASDAQ, we're waiting for it to come back. You can see the manipulative highs, same thing. and US 30. It was a little bit more of a, I guess, an uptrend instead of a sideways market there, but same thing. We're waiting for this to come back up. Whichever one looks the best, has the best confirmation, maybe we'll play them all. But regardless, those, we are very bearish on those. I will say one thing. There's a thing called a Santa Claus rally, and it is what the big banks, they'll do to get their Christmas bonus sometimes. So watch out for that. That's the big risk to this play, to be honest, a Santa Claus rally. So go figure for that. And then Bitcoin is very similar, guys. Bitcoin is very, very similar. It has the same exact type of move. I'm expecting this to hold. I do not think price is going to make its way up here. And if it does, there is some volume up there. No doubt there's volume here. So I will strike if it gets up here. But I'm thinking price is going to, make its way up and drop again. So very bearish on the market right now. Bullish on the dollar. If the dollar doesn't go bullish now, I'm still probably going to be waiting for a spot for the dollar to go bullish, just because the Fed hasn't yet changed their mind. In fact, the Fed said that they're going to go a little bit harder in 2023 than they thought they were going to have to. So that's a hawkish sign, in my opinion. There is a little bit of news this week. I think it's more towards the end of the week for the dollar. Unemployment, GDP, that'll tell us that will actually tell us a lot. So we might need to watch for that. I'm thinking that unemployment is going to skyrocket. So we'll see. All right. That's it for me. I appreciate it. Y'all make sure to like and follow. And if y'all need any mentorship, real mentorship, y'all know where to find us.